Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Spill the D. My name is Gina, and I'm one of your hosts, and I'm joined here with my handsome co-host, Rick. How are you?
I'm doing great. We're in Disney.
We are in Disney right now. If you're listening when this episode comes out, or a few days after, we are at Walt Disney
Oh
World.
yeah.
So excited.
Yeah.
So ready to be there. Please come say hi if you are there as well and you see us. We will love to speak with you.
Just to be clear, we're not in Disney recording this. I wish we were. We should do that. If we could get all the equipment down there.
That's the thing.
Really
It's
fun.
all the equipment. But that's okay. Maybe someday.
Maybe
That'd be pretty
someday.
cool.
But yeah, we are in Disney. If you're listening to this the day it comes out, or like Gina said, a few days after. So come say hi to us. We'd love to meet you.
We would love to meet you. We have a really funny episode for you guys today. It's not funny, but it's funny. So we are talking about times that things just go wrong in Disney. And let's be honest, it does happen.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we talked about this with Bailey from 407 and Beyond yesterday on Instagram. We went live with her, and we were kind of talking about how, like, things normally don't go wrong in Disney. It's rare that things go wrong, especially if you planned your vacation now. You have it set, you're ready to go. So when things do go wrong, sometimes they do become that, like, core memory of, like, here's when everything just hit the fan and, like, it did not go well.
Yeah.
So we asked the listeners to send in their stories of when that happened. The original plan for this episode was that we each had multiple stories we were going to tell, but I think we each need to only tell like one and then go right to the listeners, because the stories that you guys sent in they're
hilarious.
Funny, they're sad, they make me angry reading it. Like, they are gonna have all of you listening now on the edge of your seat for some of them, because some of them were so short they fit in the Instagram little question box. Some people sent me full paragraphs that I was crying laughing reading, so I'm gonna do my best to keep my cool while we're doing it, but they are really good, and I'm really excited for it. I didn't fully read all of them. I just skimmed through them, make sure they were appropriate.
Yeah.
So it's going to be some live reactions, which is really good. I'm really, really excited to share my sister-in-law's story. That one, I was almost in tears. But it's also because I was picturing her. So when we tell that story, picture your sister-in-law.
There's a few of these from people that we like are close with and we know. So if we're laughing extra hard, it's probably because we know the person.
We'll tell you if we know them, because that way it's not as bad. But if we are laughing at you and we don't know you, just know we're laughing with you.
Just know it's out of love.
We're not laughing at you. We're laughing with you. Some of you might be crying with you. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Before we do that, we do have 2 pieces of Disney news to go ahead with the first one.
So for our Disneyland fans out there, anybody who's hoping to get out to Disneyland sometime soon, the Wonderful World of Sweets has now officially opened. And basically what it is it's a confectionery, like the Main Street confectionery. It's that, but it's at downtown Disney at Disneyland, California.
My brain was calling it Disney Springs, even though I know that that's wrong.
I have to like think about it for a second every time I talk about the one out in California, because I always want to call it Disney Springs. But yes, it's downtown Disney. And it's, like I said, it's basically like the Main Street confectionery. They have a bunch of sweets that are all Mickey shaped and Friends shaped. So if you're out in California, go check that out.
Yeah, it used to be, I think it was called Marceline's Sweet Shop, and then they closed it and they made it bigger. So now it just looks like a full-on candy wonderland where everyone can be a kid in the candy shop.
It looks awesome. If you haven't seen it, look up some pictures, because it's really cool.
And the other piece of news we have, this is for all you people out there with the big bucks to spend. Disney, before they announced the Lightning Lane Premium Pass, this one ranges from like, $200 to $400+ per day, per person, per park, all that fun stuff. We talked about it in a previous episode how it works, but it's basically like the ultimate Lightning Lane pass, where you can just hop on every ride one time and not having to need a reservation. When they originally announced it, it was only for deluxe resort guests. Then they expanded it and made it to all resort guests, and now it is available to anybody visiting Walt Disney World. So if you're visiting Walt Disney World, you can book this and you can pay to have this as a little perk on your vacation. Like I said, it is expensive, but it could be worth it if you got the money to spend.
Yeah.
And if you need some help booking that Walt Disney World vacation, make sure to call our friends at 407 and Beyond Vacation Co. We are the official podcast of 407 and Beyond Vacation Co. They are a Disney and Universal Orlando travel agency that books and plans family vacations to destinations such as Walt Disney World, Universal Orlando, Disney Cruise Line, and so much more. It doesn't cost any extra to book with them. Their services are 100% free, and their travel agents do everything. So all you have to do is show up, have fun, and create some memories. So you can go get a free quote at 407vacations.com.
So easy, so convenient.
So much. We had an agent help us with this trip coming up, so they're very helpful.
We use them all the time.
We do.
Why we recommend them, because we know how great they are.
And because we are the official podcast of 407 and Beyond Vacation Co. All right, are you ready?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, so I feel like we should start with the shorter stories and then go
Okay.
into the longer ones.
Should we start with ours or finish with ours?
Oh, you know what? Do you want to do yours?
You want me to go do mine first?
Yeah, do yours.
Okay.
Which one did
so-
you decide on? What time did you pick?
I realized when this topic of conversation was brought up that I've been very lucky at Disney. I haven't had too many moments where things went terribly wrong. Obviously, little things here and there will go wrong, like a ride breaks down or something like that, but I don't consider that being like the worst thing in the world and necessarily like a bad experience at Disney because things happen. I have been a part of multiple Disney runs, whether it be as a spectator or a runner. I've had mostly good experiences, but also bad ones. And the worst experience I had was the first time I was a spectator for the Princess.
Yeah,
It was right.
Princess Half
It was
Marathon.
when Gina was down there for the Princess. So, little bit of backstory. This was the trip that Gina had planned to run the Princess with her best friend, and I decided I was going to propose this trip. So that is kind of necessary to the story. So I decided I was going to propose this trip. So already I have immense amount of pressure on myself and just like feeling stressed out for the whole time. So we go down and I decide that I'm going to go watch Gina at the run. So for those that don't know, you can go to specific points throughout the run as long as it's along the front. I don't know if they do it for the 5Ks, but like if it's they do it for the 5Ks?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can meet up with the runners at certain points. They'll have spots that spectators can go and they can stand there. So like for example, the last one that we did or the last one that Gina did when she did Dopey, we were out on Main Street and it was raining, which again, kind of a bad experience, but
You're taking a real long walk for this drink of water right now. Tell the story. Come on.
I might be rambling. Anyway, so the first run that Gina did. If anyone's ever seen The Amazing Race, that's basically what my experience was that morning. So I was with Gina's sister and our other friend, and we were trying to meet up at the race points. We ended up taking 4 forms of transportation. We took an Uber, we took the Skyliner, we took a boat, we took a bus.
Monorail.
A monorail. So we took 5. We took 5 different forms of transportation.
You took every form of Disney
We did.
transportation.
All in an attempt to get to specific points, and the finish line was where we tried to get. So this was during the marathon run. So
Half.
this was during the half
Half,
marathon run.
yeah.
So think about this over the course of what, 2.5 hours probably. We were running around to all these different places to try to get to the finish line, and we couldn't do it. It ended up taking us the same amount of time that it took Gina and her best friend to run a half marathon for us to get from the boardwalk to the front of Epcot.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, Sarah's watch at the end of it said that you guys did like 6.5 miles.
We went so far. Like I said, we started at the boardwalk. We were like, the boardwalk, for those that don't know, is right next to Epcot. And to get from the front boardwalk to the front of Epcot, it took us 2.5 hours in 5 different forms of transportation. Our friend had a meltdown in the car.
In the Uber.
In the Uber. The one person on this whole entire experience that had no control over anything that was going on.
That was not related to Disney.
It was not related
in
to
the
Disney at all.
slightest.
Had a meltdown, told her she wasn't having a magical experience and it wasn't meeting her expectations. And this poor Uber driver's just sitting there like, I don't know what to do. We tried to get him to drop us off at like in the middle of a highway and we could just walk to the beginning of Epcot. And he was like, I can't do that. And we were like, are you sure about that? Because we've been going for 2 hours now.
We'll
So
get-
he was like, I can't do that. So we ended up dropping us off at the boardwalk again. It was a mess. We documented the whole thing. The videos are somewhere. But yeah, it was a mess. I didn't have a great time. Like I said,
Did or didn't?
I didn't. Looking back, it's hilarious. But like I said, I was planning on proposing later that day, so I was already stressed out, and then I couldn't even get to the finish line. So it was just a mess all around.
My favorite moment of that was, first of all, me and Ellie had like no clue how much trouble they were having.
No one did. It was
all
just
we
the 3 of
knew
us.
was that they weren't there. And whenever they said they were going to be, like, they weren't there. But my favorite was when we hit, like, the 10.5, 11-mile marker. And when you hit that point, it's right before you go into Epcot. And once you're in Epcot, the next spot they can see you is the finish line.
Yeah.
So we get to the marker. And at this marker, they could be there. We pass it. They're not there. We're looking for them. We pass it. I kid you not. We were maybe a 1/4 mile past.
Not even. I think it said 0.1 on the
Yeah,
thing.
when I get the alert on my watch, I had the walkie-talkie feature on so they could find, like,
Yeah.
they can talk to us, and I get the alert, where are you? And I was like, oh, we're going. And, like, you're not turning around during a run. First of all, that's not safe. But also, like, we're already gone. Like, sorry. So then they had to race to the finish line. They did make it to the finish line.
Yeah, so we had finally gotten to a point where we could have potentially seen them, and they were just past us. So then we had to rush again to try to get to another point, and it was a nightmare. But we got there.
It's so funny. It is so ridiculous.
The best part about it was just the three of us that had any idea what was going on. Because like you said, you and Ellie had no idea what was going on. And everybody that was at the hotel who was going to Oga's Cantina while you guys were running had no idea what was going on. It was just the three of us, and we had nobody that we could call.
No, because it was me. That's who you would have called normally.
Yeah. So that was a nightmare.
That's hilarious.
Looking back, it was hilarious, but during the moment, it was just like we had multiple instances where we had to just sit down and just like collect ourselves and just be like, okay, what do we think is the next best move? And then we'd be like, I bet the boats are running right now. Let's try that. And they're like, you can't get there.
So funny.
So yeah, that's definitely the worst experience that I've had at Disney. Just trying to, it just felt unorganized, but we figured it out.
It was organized. It just wasn't organized for you.
Yeah.
For what you needed at that moment.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Okay. Let's go into some of the listener ones.
Okay.
All right. So I'm reading the ones that were sent in on the question box on Instagram. So they don't have much details. It's just a one sentence. Okay. I had 4 consecutive Disney trips all in the rain.
Oh, that's terrible. That's just bad luck.
So it rained every time she went
every
to
day of every trip.
Nice empty parks.
Yeah.
Are we finding the silver lining this episode? Maybe. Nice empty parks.
It is the risky run when you go to Florida though. It rains
to Orlando
pretty much every day. It stinks that you had to get it what it sounds like all day every day from all of your trips. But,
sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
It's so weird that Disney didn't control the weather with that big bubble.
They should have.
People really think that's a thing.
What?
That there's a bubble over Disney that controls the weather to keep it from raining. It's like one of those like Disney conspiracy theories that people who have gone to Disney ever at least once in their life can tell you is not true because it rains all the time in Orlando.
Yeah.
It rains all the time at Disney. But
interesting.
All right, now this one, I would vomit. I don't get motion sickness on rides, but this would do it. I get motion sickness in cars, which is why this would do it. This person got stuck on the Finding Nemo ride for 20 minutes in the tunnel with Crush. The audio just kept playing on the loop.
That sounds terrible just because that ride is terrible.
I'm not a fan of that ride, but you know the tunnel where it's like, it makes it look like you're going faster, so you have the water go, oh God, I'd throw up.
You just have to close your eyes.
You would. I would.
Just
anyone would, I think.
If you're gonna be there
and
that
just
long,
hope that
take
you
a
couldn't
nap.
hear the music. A lot of these, from what I've skimmed through, are upset stomachs. Fair warning. Or things like that. Got stuck on a ride.
Yeah.
Because that's terrible. My husband got a very upset stomach on our last trip and spent 2 days in the hotel.
I've heard of this happening to people. Knock on wood, this hasn't happened to me at any point when I'm in Disney. But
so paranoid. Everyone's getting sick right now, and I'm like, don't come near me. I'm going to Disney World. I did not spend all of this money to be stuck in a hotel.
Yeah, it sounds terrible.
My one cousin, her daughter got sick, like full on stomach bug, and then passed it to like everyone in their family. So like everyone took turns missing the park basically because they had no other choice.
It's terrible.
Just here's the thing, our little note for everyone listening. If you do get the stomach bug, please don't tough it out. Enjoy it. You paid for that hotel. Enjoy it.
True. That's also true.
Stay in that hotel all day.
Make the most of it. Get room service.
Yeah, because trying to tough it out, you're going to be miserable. Everyone around you is going to be miserable. You're going to get everyone sick.
Yeah.
Oh, no one needs that. And I cannot imagine trying to ride. Imagine getting stuck in the Nemo tunnel for 20 minutes with the stomach bug. Oh, God, no. No. Okay, this is a sad one. We were never told our 3 free fast passes didn't work when you park hop. So this one came from my brother, so I know what happened here. They got free fast passes because there was a hotel issue. This was back in the day when they were free anyway, but they gave them additional fast passes.
Okay.
Because there was a hotel issue. So they're like, here you go, use them on any experience, you're good to go. So they're going to the park, they're doing their thing. They're banking their fast passes to save for the next park.
Understandable.
Get over to the next park and find out that they're not good there.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that feels like something that should have been mentioned.
It should have. So this is just the whole, like, when someone gives you the free stuff or something like that, Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Ask as many questions.
You
as
wouldn't
you
think that you would need to ask questions on that, but you might need to. I wasn't there when this one happened. It was when I was working for Disney, so I wasn't included in the 3 free passes and all that stuff, because I wasn't at the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember right, I think they park hopped, and then there was extra magic hours.
Okay.
So I think the issue was the extra magic hours. No, because they park hopped early. Yeah, I think it just didn't work when you park hop. So this probably wouldn't even apply now because everything's different now with lightning lanes.
Mm-hmm.
But ask, make sure that
Yeah.
if you get something, if you get a free lightning lane, somehow find out if it transitions to another park, because they all just lost a bunch.
Yeah.
That perk that they got from the hotel issue just was
Mhm.
gone, and then it
Yeah.
was just like, okay, now our hotel's messed up, and we got literally
We
nothing.
got nothing for it. Yeah.
Which happens, but it still just stinks.
Yeah.
Ask the questions. You know to ask the questions. We're telling you as a listener, ask the questions.
All right, so our next one. This is rough. One night heading back to the All Stars, our bus driver got lost, and it took us over an hour to get back.
At the end of the night?
Yeah, at the end of the night is tough.
Oh, that breaks my heart.
I feel like I've never been on a bus where they got lost.
No, I've never heard of that either.
Yeah,
they must have been new.
Never heard of that being a
because they're
thing.
not allowed to use like GPS or anything.
Yeah, they're
like,
just supposed to know
if
where
you get a
they're going.
minivan, like they don't use the GPS like an Uber or
Yeah.
Lyft would. So like buses aren't allowed either.
It had to be someone who just got their ears and they just like got lost in the dark or something.
Yeah, that's crazy. We actually had an experience, and it was going to be I thought about making it my bad experience to tell everyone, but it was just, I don't know what went wrong. I don't know if a bus broke down. I don't know if the timer was wrong, with the prediction of the bus. We were staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and it took us over an hour to get to Animal Kingdom.
This was our last trip.
It was. We were supposed to meet Bruce for lunch at 2:00, and we walked in at 2:50, and we were at the bus stop at 2:45, and we knew we were pushing it on 2:00. Yeah, I'm sorry, at 1:45. We knew we were pushing the whole 2:00 envelope with the 1:45, because sometimes it takes a little bit, but like this really took a long time. Like the bus just didn't show up.
Yeah, it was like, if we get to the bus stop 1:45, even when we get on at 2, we'll still be at the park by 2:05 because it's right there.
Like I think it said that, like I think the sign said the bus would be there at 1:50, so we timed it out, and then the 1:50 bus didn't come.
Yeah.
And then the 2:00 bus didn't come.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And they just kept not coming, and I was like, what is going on? And we were the first stop. We were at Godani Village. So like it was strange, and like
it was kind of chilly too.
It was
It made it
very
worse.
cold. We were standing in
It made
the
it
sun
worse.
because we were like, it's actually cold out right now. We're freezing our keisters off, waiting for this
keisters.
bus from Animal Kingdom Lodge to Animal Kingdom. We could not get any closer if we tried. What's going on? But there's a lesson for you all on that. If you got a reservation, better get there early. We didn't have a reservation, thank goodness. We just knew we were going to go eat. But yeah, that was rough.
Yeah,
But getting lost on the way home might be worse. Imagine, my gosh, the way home from Magic Kingdom. Imagine standing. You're standing on the bus and you just want to go lay down in your bed and you're stuck
Especially
for
if
an
you have
hour.
kids, too.
Oh,
If you have kids and they're like, why
you have a
back yet?
stroller leaning on you. Oh my goodness. You're holding a kid because they fell asleep.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I don't know what happened with you, this person who sent this in, but I'm painting a really nasty word picture to really make it bad. Got stuck on Rise of the Resistance for 45 minutes in what people on the ride kept calling an elevator. I hate elevators.
Personal HE double hockey sticks for this person.
That sounds terrible.
What part do they consider an elevator?
The part where the ride drops.
Oh, okay.
See, this is we're laughing
funny,
with you. We're laughing with you, not at you. That sucks.
I hope you were able to keep your composure a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, I get freaked out whenever like Haunted Mansion or Tower of Terror.
I was gonna say, what's your worst ride to get stuck on?
Haunted Mansion?
Yeah.
I don't do ghosts, so like when it just keeps moving through, I'm okay. But when it stops, I have too much time to think about it. Also, I think I've said this before on the podcast. I don't know, but there's an episode of Psych where there's a murderer in a haunted house.
Okay.
So now whenever I'm in a haunted house, I'm like, I like have my neck put in like I'm a turtle because I'm like afraid someone's gonna come out and like, try and stab me. So I like sit nice and low so they like can't find me because I just think about that episode. And like, if you actually watch the episode, he doesn't like touch the people on the ride.
Yeah.
But I watched it when I was so young that I changed in my head what was actually happening.
Yeah.
Knoebels That's the worst one. I'm like, there's got to be a murderer in here.
There's so many jump scares in the
There
Konobo.
is. There is. And they get me every time because I think there's a murder. What would be your worst one to be stuck on?
Space Mountain.
Why?
Because I imagine getting stuck, like, in a weird position in the dark.
Interesting. I don't know if there's a weird position on a roller coaster. You just be. That's probably the most comfortable one to be stuck in. You got your own seat.
No, that seat's so uncomfortable.
You're lounged in. You think? I think it's so comfy.
I hate the ride in Space Mountain, like the actual seat. I feel so cramped.
Interesting. Okay.
Probably part of the reason I don't like the ride is because I don't like the seats.
Yeah, I have enough room. I'm good.
You always have more room in the front too.
I do like the front.
And I don't like going in the front.
I know. That's why I like the front. I get the front every time, and there's plenty of space. My husband had food poisoning, and I had a really bad cold at the same time. Okay. I do feel bad for you for your cold, because a bad cold can really ruin a day.
Yeah.
Food poisoning, though,
That's
that
tough.
can ruin a whole vacation. That's
Hopefully you didn't get that
terrible.
from Disney.
I know, right? That would be terrible. That's, again, another stomach issue. I don't want it.
I always feel bad for people when they're sick. When they're
So do
Disney.
I.
I always feel so bad.
You tell me you have, like, a headache or something. I'm like, cool, let's get you some drugs. Let's do what you gotta do. But a stomach, you just gotta wait that out.
Yeah, stomach issues are the worst.
You can eat a piece of toast. You can chug some Pepto. You can do what you think will help, but like nothing helps better than just waiting it out, which is the worst.
And trying to wait it out when you're walking through a 95 to 100 degree park with giant crowds of people sounds terrible.
We drove from Pennsylvania to Iowa, and I got a stomach bug on the way.
Yeah.
And I was on top of the fact that I get car sick, I had a stomach bug, and I was miserable. So I cannot imagine being stuck at Disney World with a stomach bug.
That sounds horrible.
Like I said, at least you get your money's worth out of your hotel room.
Yeah.
Those rooms aren't cheap.
Yeah.
That's God telling you to stay in the room a little longer.
All right. Next one. We got stuck on Tomorrowland Speedway for an hour during the Christmas party in 2023. LOL.
We got stuck on. You weren't there. It was when my family came when I was living down there.
Oh, really?
We got stuck during the Christmas party on It's a Small World for an hour.
That
No.
might actually be the worst ride to get stuck on.
We got stuck in the room with the Polynesian room.
Okay.
So that it doesn't say It's a Small World. It's just the sound of like the music playing.
Yeah, but it's still the music playing.
No, it's different music. It's like it's where the hula dancers are.
Oh,
If you're
okay.
watching on the 407 MA on YouTube, you can see me doing the hula dance right now. So we didn't actually hear It's a Small World for most of it.
Well, that's at least nice.
So
but
that
that
was
actually
good.
might
But
be
that
the
means-
worst ride to get stuck on if you get stuck on It's a Small World.
But that means other people were stuck listening to that.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
But I'm with this person. Getting stuck during a party is terrible because you only have so much time, and to feel like you are like missing out on so much of your time, that's awful.
Yeah.
That
Especially
is-
when it's a ride like Tomorrowland Speedway where like you could very easily just unbuckle your seatbelt and walk to the front of the ride.
Yeah,
Like,
oh,
it's like a super easy fix. Like if they knew it was
Let
gonna be
me
down for a
out.
while, they could just like let you out, and it would be no problem. It's not like a roller coaster where they would need to get like probably like safety people and everything.
I mean, I'm sure there is safety things
Yeah.
because the bars in the middle that like hold the cars on.
Yeah,
But still,
but if no cars around,
I'd be like, please just let me go. Let me jump the fence into Dumbo real quick. Okay. This person said, my daughter had a meltdown in the World Showcase, and eventually we found out the cause. She wanted coleslaw. Kids are so funny.
I relate.
To wanting coleslaw or having a meltdown or both.
Having a meltdown because I want coleslaw.
Kids are so funny.
They're funny when they're not yours.
It's funny. It's funny in hindsight.
How do
feel
you
like.
parent that situation? Like that's the thing. Like,
Well, actually,
you
I
finally find out that the reason the meltdown is happening because they wanted coleslaw the whole time.
like, do you give it to them? I'm assuming, right? Like, or do you not?
I think you go get them coleslaw, but like, I don't know. I just like, I don't know how to parent that.
I actually did get more of a story for this one because
Okay.
they sent it as had a meltdown in the WS, and then I read the rest and it said they wanted coleslaw. So I was like, okay, it's a restaurant, and I could not figure out what WS could stand for.
Okay.
So I asked them, and they were like, World Showcase. So I actually got more details because of that. They said, we were walking around World Showcase, and she started getting cranky. We figured because it was so hot, so we went on Frozen, and then it just escalated real quick after that to a full-on meltdown. My favorite was when she stormed away from me in China, and I had other people coming up to me to let me know my child was by herself. I was keeping my eye on her from a distance, but clearly anything I was saying just made it worse. Can you imagine? I'm just picturing, like, our niece like stamping her foot and walking away
Yeah.
because we didn't give her coleslaw. That's hilarious. Kids are so funny.
Kids are a pain.
Laughing with you, not at you. Trust me, I know someday I could eat these words, but
Yes.
right now, kids are so funny. Okay. Now we got some full-on paragraphs people sent in. I think. Did I miss one?
Yeah.
I did? What did I miss? Oh, okay. This one came from someone we know, so we're going to share it, but we're going to give you we're going to tell you it's okay. Because she wanted everyone to know that the big mistake she made was she brought her husband. It says, brought my husband. Big mistake. They're divorced now. They got divorced shortly after this, so.
Disney doesn't always bring people together.
Nope. Alright.
Alright, let's hear the good ones. I'm excited.
You didn't think those were good?
No, like the long
one, yeah.
The full on,
where people said this box is not enough.
Yeah.
Okay. It's so funny because over the course of the day, I called it a Disney dilemma, a Disney mishap, some terms that I can't use on the podcast. I had like 5 different names for what this episode was going to be, and it's so funny seeing everyone's message. Disney dilemma story. When I was 6, we went on one of our yearly trips to Disney. I gotta word this the right way because I can't word it the way she worded it. I fell chasing after Goofy in Magic Kingdom during a parade. Don't worry, I didn't get far. Tripped off the curb. Skinned my shin up to my kneecap. The next day, I fell again, running away from my dad in Animal Kingdom after getting off the safari. Completely cut open my other knee.
Ooh.
And then the same day, I threw up on Rafiki in Animal Kingdom because he scared me. And I cried so hard in the photo, I threw up. I had to call for my mom. I had to call my mom for this one because I knew it was a good one. I also threw up in our bed at Animal Kingdom Lodge on the first day of the trip after I woke up from a nap.
Kids are awesome, right?
Kids are great. 2 skinned knees and 2 vomits. That's pretty good. I like those numbers.
Crying so hard that you throw up is great.
On the same day. Skins her knee and throws up on Rafiki.
That's so funny.
Poor Rafiki.
Yeah.
I used to hang out with characters, and I can say I was at least never thrown up on.
That's good. That is a bad day, though. That's
a very bad day.
Nothing went right for you on that trip, it sounds like.
Your poor mom and dad.
Yeah.
Stop running away. So good. All right, you ready for another?
Yeah.
We had just arrived in Disney World 3 days earlier for our engagement moon. I wanted to wash my husband's good Disney golf polo so we could take pictures together for our engagement shoot. I did laundry at the resort. Oh, I read this one. Oh, this one's really bad. Sorry, I just remember I did read this one over. I did laundry at the resort laundry while on Wi-Fi. Either the Wi-Fi or the laundry system was hacked, and the next morning, my entire identity was on the dark web. I had to shut down and freeze all of my accounts and bank accounts and everything. Before I did, we bought $2,000 of Disney gift cards for the rest of the trip because we still had 7 days ahead of us. The cast member thought I was insane. Disney was very magical, but it ruined the day. I remember crying like a baby from stress on the curb of Main Street while the parade came by. Not Disney's fault per se, but I'll never do laundry in Disney again.
That's traumatizing. I probably wouldn't do laundry again either.
She ended up on the dark web.
That's terrifying.
Insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, okay, I told you I skimmed through all of them. Dark web caught my attention, so I fully read this one.
Yeah.
This is the worst one.
That's terrible.
In my opinion, this is like,
Yeah,
that's bad.
Yeah. Bad things do happen in Disney.
But at least, this is why you don't do laundry. I don't like doing laundry.
That is terrible, though. I
That
feel
is
bad. I feel
crazy.
so bad for
I
you.
feel so bad for you. I hope you got it all figured out. I hope your engagement shoot came out adorable. And that the shirt was nice and clean.
And I hope $2,000 was enough for the next 7 days.
Yeah, right? That's one way to budget. Just shut off all of your credit cards and only work with the gift card.
Man, that's rough. That's a rough one.
That is a rough
I can't
one.
imagine anyone beating that, but let's hear the next one.
Oh my god, and crying on the curb while the parade went by. Okay. Here's the one from our sister-in-law.
Okay.
I actually don't know if you know this story. So just picture Casey. Well, oh, sorry, I said your name. Haha. This is where we find out if she listens or not. Okay. Well, she tells it from like a first person, so it's like it's happening to you.
Oh,
Ready?
nice, okay.
You faint in line at Tower of Terror, and they bring a wheelchair that won't quite fit in the queue line. Now that I'm in the lobby of the Tower of Terror with sweat, tears, and snot running down my face, Disney World sends you the most beautiful fireman to give you first aid. So embarrassed. He literally is wiping the tears and snot away from your face. They insist you must take the wheelchair when you leave. Got to go see backstage though, so that was cool. Then the cast members tell you to just ditch the wheelchair when no one's looking. Your poor aunt is pushing you down Hollywood Boulevard in a wheelchair, and you're just so embarrassed because you just look ridiculous. Then you ditch it, or that you ditch it at the Brown Derby.
Didn't make it very far. I have heard that story before, and it's hilarious.
Disney World sends you the most beautiful fireman.
Yeah, I have heard that story before. It's a hilarious story. Sorry, Casey.
Whoops, said her name again. We have figured out the issue. She needs to stop locking her knees.
That's fair.
She told me how often she passes out, and I was like, "Do you stand with your knees locked?" And she was like, "I don't know," and stood up. And I was like, "Those are locked. That is exactly what is making you pass out."
Should have trained for it like me.
Yeah, Rick's been working on not locking his knees when he stands.
It's not going well.
No, the amount of times a day that I go, "Unlock your knees." Did your knees just crack?
No, that was the couch man.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a bad beat. That's not a great time. Anytime that something like that happens and you got people staring at you, I feel like it's a terrible time.
Yeah. But a gorgeous fireman to wipe your snot away. There's a silver lining.
There's a silver lining, sure.
If someone's gonna wipe your snot, it might as well be a handsome fireman.
I think that's what they say. Yeah.
Couldn't agree more, right? Did you want to read any of these, or you enjoy me reading them to you?
That's up. I could sit here and listen.
Okay. This person said, "Oh, so last time I was in Disney World was for the Wine and Dine half marathon. The morning after we got to Orlando, my husband and I were so weak and nauseous, but had planned to go to the parks and go to the expo to get our bibs and shirts. We made it to the expo and the Magic Kingdom and stood in line for Tiana's for probably 20 minutes and physically could not stand there any longer because we felt so sick. We went back and slept for like 15 hours and both had fevers overnight. We figured it was food poisoning. We got up and somehow made it back to the parks and rode some rides. I threw up after Rock and Roller Coaster, and I do not get motion sickness. We made it through a pretty chill park day, even though we were both still nauseous. We went back to sleep forever again, and both of our fevers broke overnight. We went and ran the half marathon that morning. Needless to say, we did not run the whole time. But I still can't believe we finished. We even made it to the post-race party. We were able to do the parks the next 2 days and finish our trip out strong. I think we had a stomach bug and are slightly traumatized because that was our first half marathon."
That's fair. That's a fair traumatization, but it's good you finished strong.
That is good you finished strong. Proud of you for getting through that, because that's enough reason to make someone not even show up in the morning.
And that is why you plan a long Disney trip, so that even if it starts out bad, you can still finish strong.
We're back to the stomach bug. Sometimes you just gotta wait till it's done. Yeah. They usually only last like 24 hours, but that's 24 hours taken from your vacation, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. Where you throw up after Rock and Roller Coaster, even though you don't get motion sickness. Oh, I'm just picturing how terrible it probably was when the ride ended and you're just like stuck on the car waiting to get off.
And you have like so long to get to the bathroom. You have to go through the gift shop.
I think you're going for the first trash can you see.
You think?
Yeah. If you have to throw up that bad.
Then you're just throwing up in the middle of a gift shop.
If there's a trash can in there.
Pretty sure there's one in there.
There's probably one in there. Yeah. In case someone has to throw up.
That sucks.
Do you know Guardians is like one of the only spots with a top loading trash can so people can throw up? It is. If you look when you get off of Guardians, their trash cans have the hole in the top, so like trash goes right down. All the other trash cans in Disney, the trash goes in the side, and it's so that if you get off, you and need to throw up, you can go right into it.
Disney really does think of everything.
Like the vomit. All right, on to the next one.
So many people getting sick.
I know. I'm wondering how many more sick ones we have. One time, I tried to leave Epcot, go get Gideon's, and also make it back to Epcot for a dinner reservation. Well, it turns out there's no bus that goes from the parks to Disney Springs. So I decided to get on a resort bus and then transfer. There were 2 resort buses. I chose Port Orleans because I knew it was closer to Springs than the other. Hey!
Port Orleans gets you everywhere on Disney property.
Yeah, Rick has this theory. It doesn't work. We'll tell the story once I'm done this one. Well, the bus decided to sit there for like 15 to 20 minutes waiting for other people to board. And of course, the other resort buses I could have gotten on pulled away before I could switch. Took me over an hour to get to Springs. Gigantic line at Gideon's. I wait, I get my cookies and cold brew. Then I decide to lift out of there because the bus thing didn't work. Well, I didn't know where the ride share was at Spring, so I accidentally chose the wrong entrance on the app. Why does it even let you do that? And I missed my driver. Ordered another driver, took him about 15 minutes to get there and pull in because traffic was so backed up. Anyways, I finally made it to Epcot. Of course, missed my reservation, Space 220, RIP. But it was with a group of 407, so someone else was able to take my seat. So not super upset, but I still have yet to go inside Space 220. Main point of the story, even if you think you're trying to be smart with Disney, things could be out of your control. I won't make those mistakes again, though.
That's fair. First things first, you're not missing much with Space 220, so I don't feel too bad about that.
It's a cool environment,
It's
and
alright.
the food does taste really good, but it's very expensive and it's not quick.
It didn't live up to the hype, in my opinion.
We were in there for like 2 hours.
Yeah. But yeah, that goes back to our episode that we did a few weeks ago with Disney transportation, like knowing where you can get to places is huge, I feel like.
Yeah, if I was in that situation, I probably would have taken the bus to Saratoga Springs and then got off and walked right to Disney Springs. But she's right, though, because she went to Port Orleans, and realistically, there should have been a nice quick bus because Port Orleans is close. Or she could have went on the boat, again, right to Disney Springs. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it just doesn't work out like you plan, kind of like how it took us over an hour to get from Animal Kingdom Lodge to Animal Kingdom. Yeah,
that does kind of stink, though, that you missed a reservation.
Yeah. Hope the cookies were good.
Yeah, hopefully the cookie and cold brew was worth it.
Go ahead, tell them all your Port Orleans story.
I'll keep it quick. So the last time we were there for a run when Gina was doing Dopey, we also had no idea where to go. And me and my best friend were trying to catch up with Gina and Ellie, and we didn't know where to go. And every single time, this happened at least 5 times, we asked the cast member where we could catch a bus to get to a certain spot. Every single time they told us to go to Port Orleans French Quarter. So now it's a running joke in our group that if you need to get anywhere, just go to French Quarter first, and then you'll be able to get to your destination.
We'll be like in Philly, and if you have to go somewhere, I'll just go to Port Orleans. You'll figure it out. Just check into Port Orleans real quick. A bus will pull up. Yeah,
it happened so many times during the day, and then the last thing that happened was we were trying to get to Hollywood Studios from Epcot, but park hopping wasn't started yet because it was like 12 o'clock or something like that. And we went up to a cast member and we were like, hey, what's the fastest way to get to Hollywood Studios since there's no direct bus yet? And they were like, oh, you're just going to want to go to French Quarter and then you can take a bus from there. We were like, okay. Guess we'll just assume French Quarter is the place to go.
Was it French Quarter every time?
Every single time.
That's hilarious.
It was always
like French it was Quarter. Never Riverside.
No,
it was always
they were like, you're going to want to go to Port Orleans French Quarter and do this. And we're like, okay.
That's hilarious.
Every single time.
There must be something with like the run route that there's a way to get to Port Orleans.
Yeah, I don't know.
Without like getting stopped by the run.
Yeah.
Because why else would every single person?
I don't know, but it was always like we were always expecting them to be like, oh yeah, here's the most direct route, and it's just take this bus to here. And every single time it was you at least have to go to French Quarter first, and then you can figure it out from there. I saw a lot of French Quarter that day. It's a nice resort. I just don't need to go there every single time I have to take a bus.
Yeah, you guys actually did it like 3 of the times, right?
Yeah.
You want to stay there soon?
Sure.
You can check that out. You could probably do a rating episode without actually staying.
I might be able to.
The rooms were great. We got beignets. It was a good time. All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
This person says, OMG, yes. My ex, emphasis on ex, they did emphasize it. They put it in all caps. Boyfriend disclosed halfway through walking around the World Showcase that he would never come back to Walt Disney World on vacation, and thereafter proceeded to be miserable for the rest of the day. I dumped him as soon as we got home. My now fiance embraces my love for Disney. Good for you, girl.
Not the first person I've heard that had an issue with an ex and Disney.
Mm-hmm. Not the first person today that had an issue with an ex and Disney.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. You just got to find someone who shares interests with you. They don't all have to be the same, but they should be able to at least stomach your interests, I should say.
Yeah, I was going to say, even if they don't love Disney, like that's where you find compromise. Okay, maybe we don't have to go every year, but I'd like to go every other year. Or like, this is something I'm interested in. I'd like if you weren't miserable when we were there. If you at least, you don't have to enjoy Disney, but enjoy my company.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So
find things to enjoy. Like, even if I don't necessarily love Epcot, I love eating. So I'll still go to Epcot and have a good time because I'm eating the whole time I'm there.
Yeah, so good for you, girl.
Yeah.
Heard a lot of stories. I think that Disney vacations have the same effect as a wedding. I think weddings show people's true colors and can bring out the best and the worst in people.
Yeah.
And I think a Disney vacation can do the same.
100%.
So I think there is a lot of people who maybe are like doubting their relationship or like things are a little rocky and they go to Disney and they come home and they're like, done.
Yeah.
I'm done. We're good. And that honestly, any vacation. I've heard plenty of stories of people going away and coming back single.
Yeah.
My brother went to Italy and came back single. Like, it happens. It does.
Yeah.
But
vacation show people's true colors.
I
like
think
you
they can. Being with someone for a whole week, having to make decisions together for a whole week, like that's like, enough to like done.
Even if you live with someone, you're still not spending as much time with them as you will on a vacation. Like if you're going to Disney, like we live together. When I'm working, I'm gone for 10 hours a day. So we're not like together the whole time. But then we go to Disney and we're together the whole time. And it works because we like each other. Not everybody's like that.
I'm glad you like me. All right, so this person skipped Slinky with plans to ride it after Smuggler's Run. Slinky Dog went down around 9 a.m. and didn't come back up until after we left around 8 p.m. My daughter was disappointed since she never got to ride it before.
Halfway through the story, I was like, this person has to have kids because that's the only reason that you're disappointed about missing Slinky Dog.
Yeah.
That's fair, though. I mean, teaches a good life lesson, but you do want to get your kid on the ride.
Like, to the kid, like, sometimes that happens. Yeah, it also teaches a good Disney lesson of, like, if it's a priority, you do it first.
Yeah.
Do it by the lightning lane if you need, or go rope drop. But I get it. It doesn't always work like that.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been, they could have got there at 9 a.m. The line was already 2 hours, and they were like, okay, we'll come back later and at night when this starts to calm down. And it just, sometimes fate does not work that way.
Yeah. Sometimes they just didn't say hi to what's his name in the morning.
Oh, Pirates. You're talking about Pirates. Saying hi to George. I just told you that story yesterday. You do listen to me.
You've told me that story a few times.
Yeah, I like that one. I'm a big fan of that one. Yeah, no, that does stink though. Poor kid.
Yeah.
Get that girl some coleslaw. Yeah.
Coleslaw fixes everything.
All right, our last one.
Okay.
Disney Dilemma. In Magic Kingdom all day. Had looked so forward to having a coconut Dole Whip during the fireworks. I get one and take a few bites. I'm in heaven. So we find our family and are about to sit down when some girl walks past me with very long hair and it goes right in my lovely coconut Dole Whip. I just about cried. I was looking forward to enjoying it all day. Two things. I've been the one holding the Dole Whip, and I've been the one with the hair that, like, it just accidentally whips, and you're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Also, ew, what's in my hair?
Yeah, like, I was gonna say, that's the only, like, bright spot for you is you're gonna be like, well, at least I don't have to deal with what they're gonna have to deal with later.
Oh, yeah, I can say, I've been both people, and it's not good on either end.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
You always gotta protect the food.
Put a wall. Yeah. Build a wall with your arms.
It's like when you eat a burger at a restaurant, you have to put the elbows out so that people can't get close enough to eat your burger.
To just take a bite right out of your hand. You don't put your burger down once it's up. When are they getting close enough?
They don't, because I have my elbows out.
Smart. Yeah, that's terrible. I hope that you went and got another coconut. Yeah, I hope you went and got another coconut Dole Whip after.
I just feel bad they had to pay for another one.
Sometimes if Disney sees something like that happen, they'll be like, here's another.
Sorry that happened to you.
I think if my hair whipped into someone's Dole Whip, I'd offer to buy them another.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it's my hair. It's my problem. It is attached to me. I have to be responsible for it. But I've been the person with the hair and the Dole Whip, and it's so gross. Yeah. You get like that stick. Ugh.
All right, well, that's it for our listeners submitted. Do you have a story you want to tell? I know you kind of already told the one about Animal Kingdom, but
I feel like I kind of like told a few throughout it.
Did you have any horror stories at work while you were there that made it like bad?
When I worked for Disney, I had a really, really, really good experience working for Disney. None worth sharing.
Okay.
Or none that I feel comfortable sharing. I can't think of any that were like, I'm sure there was, and if I think harder, but getting that thrown at me, I can't think of any that are
I was just curious if there was anything where it's like, you just had a bad day.
I had days where maybe like, fate just didn't work out that day with stuff going on around me, but I don't think I had any days where I can like pinpoint something specific. No, I don't think so.
That's fine. I was just curious.
I had 2 runs get cut short. 2 Run Disney
That
races
did
that I
happen,
paid
yeah.
a lot of money for. I did a 5K and it got cut short to 2.5 for a storm that never came. And I did the half marathon and it got short to 7, I think, 7.1.
Yeah, you guys did 6 miles in the
and we
parking
did
lot.
6 miles in a circle in the parking lot. And that was terrible. That was part of Dopey. But I was like, I'm doing this because I know I won't be able to say I did Dopey if I don't do this.
If I didn't get the miles in, yeah.
I won't be able to say it, and I'll have to deal with my siblings telling me I didn't run 48.6 when I know I did because I'm running them in a parking lot. So those were on my list as like pretty bad ones. But I feel like I kind of shared some of mine as we went through. We shared some on the live last night with Bailey. Mm-hmm. So if you didn't watch that, you can go watch that. It's posted on the 407 and Beyond Instagram. Mm-hmm. You can see it, and we told some horror stories there too.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for the ones you submitted. They were all fantastic, and I hope everyone listening enjoyed them as much as we did. Sorry if we laughed at your pain, but hopefully you were laughing with us, because if you can't laugh at it, what are you going to do? You know, it's in the past. It's fine. You got to put the past behind you. Yep. Or what is it? You're behind in the past.
Is that what he said? I thought he said.
Hey, doesn't he say it and then he corrects himself? I don't know. I gotta watch Lion King. I'll go watch it tonight. Oh, I'll watch that on the plane tomorrow.
There you go.
Perfect. But that is it. If you guys are not following us, follow along. Go head over to our Instagram at Spillity Podcast or TikTok Spillity Pod. We are going to be posting while we're in Disney, so make sure that you're following us on both of them. If you like what you heard, be sure to leave us some stars and reviews. By some, I mean 5, please. We really, really appreciate it. It helps people find the podcast. So we would love it if you could do that, please. But that's all we got. So until next time, we will
see you at the castle.